And it wasn't until that point that I started to actually listen and look at all the voices, listen to the voices of those who have been harmed by the industry.
Welcome to the Imperfect Party, where nobody's perfect, and that's worth celebrating. I'm your host, Deanna Seymour, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's just do this thing, shall we? Hey, so last month I recorded a private podcast masterclass. I don't know. You can just listen to it on the go. No slides, no sitting down. You're all good. Anyways, it's all about the online marketing world, my experiences in it, how it was a little bit cultish, and how I fell in with Tony Robbins and Jenna Kutcher and all the craziness that ensued. I also mentioned Tarzan in the masterclass, and she's on today. So I thought I should let you know you can still go grab the masterclass at onlinemarketingmadesleazy.com. All right, this is such a good episode, y'all. I'm so excited about who I have on the podcast today. It's my good friend. Just kidding. She's not my good friend. She's my teacher, Tarzan Kay. And we're going to talk about how sometimes you can get those two a little confused and why that can be problematic and what we can do about it. Anyway, she spent the last year making some huge shifts in her business and how she and her team market their online courses. So I'm really excited for you to hear this conversation, and I just want to get started. Hello, Tarzan.
Hi, Deanna.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I have many imperfections that we can discuss today.
Well, we're going to talk about those a little bit, but you're doing cool stuff. So I want to talk about that journey and what that looks like for you. So
Great.
I'm so excited. Okay, I always accidentally jump right in and pretend like everybody already knows the people I'm talking to because I do. It's like a thing I do where I think every band I like is like gonna be sold out in 2 seconds, and like, you know, I'm like first in line. I'm like, oh, this isn't a thing. Like no one else can. Everybody I love, I just think everybody is on the same page. So before I do that again, why don't you just like introduce yourself in case not everyone knows exactly what's going on in my brain.
I'm brilliant. Okay. I sometimes think I'm famous and need no introduction. And then I remember, like, I'm a micro celebrity of the internet and about 5,000 people know who I am. So I'm Tarzan Kay, and I was as a copywriter, and I now teach email marketing and copywriting skills to online business owners, some of whom are service providers and many of whom sell digital training programs.
Yes. Which is me.
There you go.
A little bit unsuccessful. Like I'm on the journey. I'm on the imperfect journey. It's my goal. Okay, so I just did a masterclass that was like throwing some shade at the industry sort of as a whole, the people, which is weird because I'm sort of in it. So it's like weird to be like, hey, this thing kind of sucks, but I'm also part of it. Am I doing things that suck or like what's happening? So I'm going to say that I did talk about you in the masterclass. But I talked about how you're someone who is doing things right, or at least working towards having a conversation around it, doing things differently, figuring shit out. So tell us kind of where you were, like what, you know.
Yes, I can roll with this. And for the record, like it feels so weird to be like, this industry is very problematic. Come and join me.
But my husband was like, so you're going to tell them those things are bad and then you're going to like try to sell them something that you're doing? Like you're going to be like, courses are bad. Join my thing. Like I was like, well, it's not, I don't know what I'm doing. So let's talk to Tarzan about what she's doing.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like before we discuss the industry, the problems of the industry, I want to say like it has enormous potential, like online training and the potential for people to start businesses that are profitable and have, make whatever they need to make, at least to match their full-time salary and preferably do much better and have more freedom and flexibility. Like I believe in all that, and I have benefited from that. Like I support a family of 4. We're very comfortable. This industry has served me in so many ways, and I'm so grateful. And I see the opportunity, and I do think it's important to say, like, yes, there are there are startup costs, and sometimes it's not always clear what those startup costs are going to be. And many times, marketing and certain ways of advertising make it seem like start with $0 and build a six-figure funnel by tomorrow. Like all that messaging is out there. Um, but something that I have been definitely a bit too quick to do is be like, well, this is all just garbage. Everybody's just talking nonsense. Well, the fact is compared to, say, like opening a Tim Hortons franchise. Hi, I'm also Canadian. I forgot to mention. Or even any like brick and mortar shop, or let's say I was like I don't know, some sort of in some healing profession and I had to like set up a clinic and renovate. And I just got my hair done yesterday, and the stylist I worked with was the owner of the salon, and she had invested a ton of money into like renovating the whole salon. So comparatively speaking, the startup cost is quite low. So I see the potential in that. Like I see how there is like it makes entrepreneurship accessible to people to whom it was previously inaccessible. Like there are just I could talk all day about these benefits, and it is all out there. However, one big problem in the industry is that it's a lot of selling dreams. A lot of selling dreams, and a lot of like almost every ad I see is like, can we just step back a second and have a reality check? Like, yes, you could make six figures, and that might be enough to sustain you after your business expenses, or it may not. That probably will take longer than you think it will take. Like, there's a lot of the sort of big industry myths are that anyone can do it. That's not true. Not anyone can do it. You need a lot of skills. Like, again, this is true of any industry. Like an entrepreneur, when you're starting a business, you have to bootstrap. You have to do all the different things. You have to be the visionary, and you also have to be the integrator. You have to do everything. And so, that's important to know. Like not everybody has that skill. Not everybody has that capacity. So often this industry sort of leads you to believe that it's possible for anyone. And I don't really believe it's possible for anyone.
That
It's
I mean
well,
that is something that's missing from the
yes.
conversation for sure. Yeah, because it's just
Yeah.
like if you just open your wallet, you too can do it. And I'm like, you don't know anything about their business or their ideas or how well they communicate or like anything else. You're right.
Yeah,
So
the other thing is like my job is also to motivate people and to like it is my job to believe for them in things they don't believe for themselves. Like somebody did that for me. And I bought into many marketing campaigns and took lots of programs where like that visionary leader was holding that vision for us, and it was really important. So that that is part of the job. And another part of the job is honesty and transparency about what it really takes. So that is something that I have really tried to thread into my business a lot more over the years, because initially like I bought into all the marketing and I did all the things I was told to do, and I was incredibly privileged in that I had 40 hours a week to do this work. So that's another thing that's often sold to us is like you can build your business on the side. And certainly some women do, like, and some men do, who are people of all genders have to navigate childcare. um However, it's a lot more difficult. So that was something that I really had in my favor. Not only did I have childcare for my child via my partner, who's a stay-at-home dad, I also had enough money to rent an office, which I paid $290 a month. And I went to this office from 9 to 5 every day, even when I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had all these hours in the week to build my business. And I followed the plans, I followed the step by step systems, and it worked for me. And I started making money quite quickly, or quickly compared to making no money previously for my entire life and not having any clue how to do it. I was like, whoa, I was like 3 months in business, and I made $7,500 in a month. That was like more money than I had made in entire years. Like I couldn't believe it. Like, how could this be possible? I'm like pinching myself. I'm like working through all this stuff that's coming up for me. Like, is this okay? So, and that growth like only grew exponentially. And before I knew it, I was hiring people and like building this whole corporation, using the same systems that were taught to me. And it took, okay, for one thing, it took me getting to a point where I was like, okay, I've done this. I'm successful. I have my $1 million business and it's growing, and something in me is also deeply unfulfilled. Like I got the money and I also lost something along the way. I don't feel present with my family. I don't really know what is my purpose. Like I don't feel like I have a mission. And that, like these bigger, I do think this is really important to know, like, or to understand that maybe it's just an observation. Having your financial needs covered does create space for these bigger questions. So I do think I got to a point where I had created a level of financial stability for my family and in my company that I could say, like, okay, what am I really doing now? And it wasn't until that point that I started to actually listen and look at all the voices, listen to the voices of those who have been harmed by the industry, those who bought something, who bought program after program, who like the number of times I hear people say like, I have all these programs, I didn't even open them. Like, and that I just ignored because I don't do that. So I don't have that. I don't have I mean, I have a few unopened courses, but I don't have a course addiction. I never fell into that cycle of like, this isn't working. I'll buy another course. Maybe that will work. Maybe that will work. I would buy a course. I would implement. Okay, next one, buy, implement, get the growth, go to the next thing. That was my path. And so I told myself a story that is rooted in like basically not seeing the level of privilege that I hold, like not seeing it's easy for me to be successful. People don't question me as an expert because I'm a beautiful white woman who conforms to our cultural standards of beauty. Also just, because of so many layers of me being able to just show up and call myself an expert, go do this thing, be a teacher in the world to say, yes, okay, Tarzan is an expert in email. Like I literally, in my first year of business, like I won this contest, this email marketing contest that was like a small thing. Like, a few hundred people on the internet even knew about it. And all of a sudden, like people were calling me an expert in email marketing. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, so now my rate is now $2,500 a day. And like, I didn't really look very deeply at all the underlying issues there. Like I just thought I'm so smart, I'm so successful, I'm so financially savvy, I just did all the right things and people just need to do these things. So I started to tune in to the voices of people who are marginalized, the voices of people who have really like been taken advantage of. Like, and I started to work backwards and piece together like what's really going on here. And that led me to examine specifically how persuasion is used in sales funnels, and specifically like how we at apply pressure in so many directions that we take away the customer's ability to think critically and make a good decision for themselves. And there's so many layers to that. One of my primary teachers in that has been Kelly Deals. And I also have worked for years with Kathleen O, who's my coach,
Mhm.
and has been instrumental in helping me get from a place of like, I feel unfulfilled. There's something bigger here that I'm missing. Oh, here's what it is. And it's like the weight of it is like crushing me. Like I want to hide under my desk and do nothing. To like slowly like pulling things back, doing less promotion, applying less pressure, creating new programs, retiring others, editing my main program is Email Stars. I had to overhaul a lot of it to in order that I am not part of the problem, that I'm not perpetuating these methods of basically making sales at any cost.
Yes. Okay, so a couple things. I'm an email star. I have a badge. I did complete email stars. I did my
Brilliant.
work.
Brilliant.
um Actually, it was cool in email stars because I feel like you also had the whole system too for like us knowing what we need to do. So I also have a background of being a teacher, a public school teacher. So I think it's extra to me, like I when I entered this world, I came at it as a teacher who didn't even think about money because I just get my direct deposit from the county every month. And so I was looking at it through like 100% teacher lenses, and I was like, what? How can we promise this, that usually the formula or whatever for a sales page is like the big, like you said, the feelings, like the big result. And I'm like, how can I say that? I'm just used to writing down like my objectives and what I'm like
Mhm.
actually going to teach them. Like, I'm never like, I'm going to make all these kindergartners feel like this crazy
The most
transformation.
special child on earth. I will love them all like I'm their mother.
Yeah, like I feel like I do that, but what I am actually teaching is the color wheel or whatever I
Yes.
happen to be teaching
Yes.
that day. So I think that's also why I've struggled with it sort of since the beginning of like, wait, but what are you teaching? Like they always say like,
Mm.
oh, don't really list the modules right away. Like we're like got to use this fancy language up here to like get them hooked. And then what we're actually teaching is like not really important as like selling the transformation, I think is what people say.
Mm.
Um and then I'm rambling too. But also Kathleen O, which is kind of she's my coach now too. But I found out about her from email stars. One thing in email stars too that I liked was how in each module you had like the tools for you, like there was self-care in it too. It was different than most courses I've taken, and I haven't taken that many courses, but for me the ones I've taken are pretty big in my family. Like I'm a teacher, my husband's a cook, so like the courses I have taken have been big investments for me, but I know other people probably spend way more. But I didn't, and I was starting to fall into the trap of buying courses. And I think in my masterclass I talk about, if you're buying a course to learn something, great. If you're buying a course to like out of desperation or seeking, like if I buy this one, that's going to be
Mm.
the answer to everything. When I started kind of feeling like I was scrounging around a little bit like that, I was like, okay, what's happening to me? And like you said, like losing your ability to sort of think critically because there's so much emotion and like desperation, I guess, sometimes for people, I think.
Yeah, I think it's important for those like on the consumer end to ask yourself before you buy a program, what is the outcome I'm looking for? Am I actually looking for a magic bullet? Like, am I trying to make the pain go away, or am I looking to learn a specific skill? That's one question. And another question, and this is something I myself have to be aware of because I am a charismatic person, be a great cult leader, is like, am I buying from this person because I like them and I just want more of them in my life? Like, am I trying to make this person my friend? Like, something I just was listening to a class with Kelly Deals, and she was talking about how we abuse likability. Likability is one of Robert Cialdini's 6 principles of persuasion, and it is often like it's something we do without even knowing we're doing it, because all the marketers I buy from do this. Like, they're creating a platform where they're highly likable and they're beautiful and they're personal brands, and um maybe they're charismatic like me. And I like, when I think back, even as I'm saying this, like, I know people have bought things from me that they shouldn't have bought because they were like, I'm just so excited to know you, I want to learn from you, I'll just buy this thing. In some cases, like, it wasn't even my program, I was selling someone else's, and they're like, I just want more Tarzan, therefore I'll buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's danger zone. So
Well, I've got to tell you that that's a little bit why I bought DCA, was because
mm,
like what I got from you was more like time. Then I sound like a psycho. Like now you're
mhm.
like, okay, I got to get off this podcast. Like you're trying to be my
No,
friend.
no,
But yeah.
I totally get that. And
I
It's
mean, I don't.
something that's just coming into my periphery right now that like, okay, this is when that happens and someone is buying from me or is like treating me the way you would treat a friend is like that's actually time for me to say this is what my boundaries are and say we're not going to be friends and we're not going to be friends. Tell me about your business situation and I will tell you if this is a good match for you. You
Mhm.
won't get time with me in this program. Like there's I have done this so many times over the last year where I just tell someone like I don't think this is a good fit for you. Like this isn't the right time in your business. You should do this other thing first. And the gratitude, it's like people want to buy from me just because I told them that. Like it's so rare that they
Mhm.
get that direct advice that someone will listen to them and say this probably isn't a good next step for you. So sometimes like I feel a lot of what we are doing in my business now is just like it's honesty. It's like treating people and not like leads, which
Mhm.
is usually how we think about launches. Like, how many leads are you going to get? How many leads are going to convert? And that's fine. We need language to have that conversation. However, we like it's easy to forget that these leads that you're buying for $4 or whatever, like they're not leads, they're people. And they're people who have budgets, and there are people who have financial struggles. There are people who may not have the same level of access to credit that you do. People who may not recover as quickly as you can from a bad spending decision. These are all things that I just didn't take the time to think about when my business was just growing and making all these new sales. And I was just too excited to look at it. But now I'm
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that you're saying like my team and corporate. I feel like you've said corporation, you've said
Mhm.
team, because that's part of it too. I think when the likability, even you just feel like, oh, it's just Tarzan over there doing this, and now that means I can do it. It's
Mm,
a much more transparent view of like you run a company. Like it is just me and my son porch for
mm.
now, but even that sort of language, it's not like anybody denies having a team, but they certainly don't talk about it as much. It's easy to forget, I think, sometimes that these businesses that just look like people on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think at some levels, for many, I know many people who are really successful in this industry and they don't have a full time team. They sort of feel like they're doing it alone because they have contractors. They have like a copywriter and a graphic designer and maybe like a launch VA or like an OBM or like whatever. They have all these random people that maybe aren't even on retainer. They're just like, I need some support now. Like, take this money and take this problem off my hands. But actually, like, that does happen a lot in the industry. So I think that's what you're referring to is symptomatic of people actually not feeling like they have a team.
mhm,
But it is something that this sort of relates back to this myth that this is there's anything solopreneur about this business.
mhm,
Like it just doesn't, like, if you do it all, you can. We all have stages. Like, I certainly did launches where I did it all, and it's not sustainable. It's absolutely not sustainable, especially like as the business grows and you're getting like even a few dozen or let alone 100 students. You need to have that support, and that's something. I think some entrepreneurs also shy away from it because it's a whole other conversation, and we don't want to overwhelm people, right? Like, that's part of how marketing works. Is like when I'm talking about email stars, I'm like, let's just talk about this one piece. This is what I can teach about. But of course, there are all these other pieces. There's like growing a team, there's like the financial health of your company, there's like the software side of it. There's just so many things we can talk about all day long. But that is also like one of our company values is honesty and transparency. And we try and provide as much of that as possible to allow people to see the bigger picture so that they know what's really involved in running a company like mine.
yeah. Would you say that in order to really go big, I mean, you have to hire stuff out, right? Like it still could be relatively cheaper than like, opening your own Canadian chain that you said that I have no idea what you were
Yes,
talking about.
Tim Hortons. Yes.
But probably, like you were just saying, it's not sustainable. Like maybe you could do it for a while, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
eventually there is a point, and it's hard to know when that point is because early on you're bootstrapping, you don't have a lot of money, and you don't know where to put it, and there's a million people that want it.
Mhm.
I do think, just as a general rule, like once you start making some money, it's coming in consistently. It's really important to prioritize support over joining the next mastermind or mentorship thing because all these group programs have great marketing. It's so weird. Like, I'll see people spend $10,000 on a mastermind program and then say that they can't afford to hire someone. Like, that doesn't make sense. If you can afford a coach, if you can come up with that money to pay your coach, like, you can come up with that money to pay someone to help you.
Yeah.
But it's always a dance. Like, you don't always know how it's going to work out. I just see so much more reluctance to hire support from service providers or employees than like to join some like I had a call from this person. I had a friend in the industry, and she wanted to tell me because she was really excited that she had just spent joined a Tony Robbins business thing for $80,000.
Okay.
And I know what this person makes. Like, I know what she pays herself. I know she does not have a lot of team support. Like, I just broke my heart. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would Tony Robbins is not going to pick up the phone? He's
Mm-mm.
never going to pick up the phone. And probably his coaches, like, don't even, I don't know. Like, it happens a lot in programs like that the coaches don't even have real world entrepreneurship experience. Like, they're employees. They're
Yeah.
employees that know how to talk the talk and teach the model.
Hmm.
There's just so much of that going on. And coming back to like, am I buying? Like, she bought that because she loves Tony Robbins and like famously talks about her boyfriend Tony. Like that just made me sad. Like, that's happening a lot. And Tony Robbins is a great example. Like, if you want to like really understand the problems of the industry, like look at what Tony Robbins is doing. He's playing the guru role. He's like using people's trauma to manipulate them and get them to buy stuff and like keeping them up until midnight, putting more offers in front of them. Like that, it's all there. It's all there. And we see it so
Ugh.
often that we forget like how like I remember this one time watching my sister scroll through a sales page from one of my business friends and was like, "Oh yeah, this looks good." And then she got to the bottom and it was $49 and there was a strike through price and it was like valued at $670 and she was like, "Yeah, whatever." And that stuck with me because I was so indoctrinated. Like, I was doing strike through prices and like I was doing all this stuff, and to see the perspective of someone who doesn't have that indoctrination was very eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm such a good listener that I had something to say and then I was like just listening to the story. I'm like, "Oh, Tony, um man, what were we saying? Now this is a real talk." So,
This
what
is
were
a
we
real
saying?
talk.
This is a real talk interview.
This is a real talk. Well, we're
Um
talking about uh, Kelly Deals calls it divesting from likability. Like, we're not building cults. And this is something I have worked through a lot with my coach Kathleen is like, what makes a cult? What cults did I join without realizing it? And one of them, it really is the online business game. And cult sounds extreme, but really it's like, it's a belief system. It's kind of like a religion. It's like, it's basically a set of doctrines that you just like people who are in cults never think they're in cults. That's the thing. Like, it's a joke. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
like my cult. Like, yes, I've made that joke. I've like joked about online business being a pyramid scheme. Like, anytime someone jokes about their thing being a pyramid scheme, about being in a cult, like they're probably in a cult and they're
Yeah.
probably want to get you into their pyramid scheme.
Yeah. That's what well I that's one of my first big courses I bought was through an affiliate of a Tony Robbins
Mm,
course thing. I talked
mm.
to a friend the other day about what I'm doing now and what I'm talking about, and she was like, yeah, I remember that. Like, she was like, yeah, you were in a because I was like talking about it on Facebook and like didn't know I was in a cult. My husband's like, yeah, you were in a cult. I couldn't
Yeah.
even with that. But
Yeah, I know exactly the promotion you're thinking about because I remember watching people promote that thing and being like, "What is this? This is so weird." Like,
it's like so embarrassing to me that it's even I like came across a video on my Google Drive the other day that I just was like given and like shared.
yeah.
It was like, this is so good, you should do this. And I thought it was, I mean, it was weird because I kind of knew it was like, I don't know, I just thought that's what I had to do. I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of like person in the cult who maybe is sort of like, is this what's happening? But I
Yeah,
was just
this
like,
is
everyone else
weird.
was doing
Yeah.
it. And
Everyone
it's
else is doing it.
yeah, and
Exactly.
that's not my thing. Like, I feel like I don't like I was like punk in high school and I
Well, hang
questioned
on.
things.
This is yes, and that was definitely used against you. I am 100% certain because yes, you can see now from another perspective that you were just like following this group and doing this thing. However, the way this industry is sold to us is that it's an alternative to the mainstream. That it's like, "Oh, you have something special and different. You're a remarkable person who has gifts to share with the world. Like you're not like all these sheep who go to jobs or whatever. Like this is for you. Like it's
Mhm.
that like rebel teen that wanted to buy the Tony Robbins thing and be a part of that club of like other rebel teens just like you who want to do things differently.
Yeah, but then they all do it the same, and then I was like, "This is what we're doing?
Mm.
Okay." And it's interesting too because that was a time in my life when my husband was having multiple surgeries for his Crohn's disease. I was pregnant with my son, and there was maybe some complications, and I was waiting to figure that out, and I just was feeling so much, like, stress and uncertainty that I now so we've been talking about cults, but I recently read Cultish, Amanda
Me
Montell's
too.
book. Yeah,
Me too.
and I, like, reading that too, I kept, like, being like, "Ah, that's exactly what happened," and I was, like, totally love bombed and, like, in the Facebook group, and I sorta knew it was weird, but I just kept going back for more, and it was just bizarre.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a fundamental human need. Like when you talk about being love bombed, like who doesn't want that? Like, yes, I want to be a part of something. I want to be seen. I want to be adored. I want people to like recognize my gifts and um I want to be in a community of people where we raise each other up together. And I'm
Mhm.
incredibly fortunate in my life like I have that. I
Yeah.
have that online, but I also have that with my friends.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when you know like what that really feels like and you see the version of that that is sold to you, you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I see what you're doing here."
Well, and that's kind of what happened, but I also think it was just such a stressful time, and Matt was in the hospital for, like, a month, so I was kinda, like, by myself at that time, but I have friends, so I don't it was just a weird time for me because 'cause I'm like, yeah, that was really bizarre, but I
Yeah.
also really wanted to make my online business work, and I was like, "This is what you have to do, Deanna, like,
Mhm.
this is what you gotta play the game, you gotta, like, be active in the Facebook group to get
Mhm.
be the rising star to get the seal on your website from this influencer because that is gonna change everything," and it was, like, this crazy thing I was doing, but at the same time, like, not doing like, it was a little I was, like, in and out, like, I was like, "I don't
Mhm.
know, this feels weird." So,
Yeah, that's really common, what the problem that you're alluding to, and it's also something I've observed without actually recognizing for many years, is people who want to learn the strategies and they want to be successful with their online business. So, but they're not comfortable with the strategies. So they have one foot in and one foot out and they keep dipping a toe in to like see, could I do this? Is this for me? But actually recognizing that it requires them to like shut down certain parts of themselves in order to implement this whatever the system is. So what you're referring to is actually really common. Like, am I in this? No, I'm not. Okay, I'm in this. Okay, no, I'm not. Let me try this other program. Maybe this. Okay, never mind. And
Yeah.
I am trying to bridge that gap in my business. Like, this is a big part of my work, which is like, hey, you, Deanna, and people who resonate with your story. Like, yes, you've been sold something that is not, that there's a reason why you feel uncomfortable with it. And that's a very good thing. Like, listen to what your intuition is telling you, because it is protecting you, and it is also protecting others who you could potentially harm. So listen to that. And now let me help you understand why you feel that way. What specifically about these systems is harmful and makes you want to back off, and what parts of it can you actually take and bring into your own business to help you become more successful and create more revenue.
Yes. Well, it's funny because when I was in that world, I took your quiz. I don't even know if it's still up there, but
It's gone. Yeah.
the money making thing. But it
Yeah.
was so funny. And I feel like I got the Kmart whatever. And I was like, oh, this person's like funny. Like these pictures are funny. Her colors are bright. Cause it just felt like I was in this beige world of like, this is how everything gets done. And if you want to be successful, because when someone gives you their roadmap and they're, super successful, millionaire, whatever, you're like, oh, this is the roadmap. Like, I am
Mhm.
also like a good student. I'm like, okay, here's the roadmap. I got to do it. Like, none of this is really like meshing with me. So when I saw your website and a funny quiz, I was like, okay, wait, there's hope. Maybe I can do this. And then I rebranded everything on my website based off my daughter's mermaid swimsuit because I was like, this shit is awesome. I'm pulling this picture into Photoshop and I'm grabbing these colors because this is what I want. And it's going to break the rules and I don't fucking care. Like, and then that was sort of like me being like, okay, wake up from the Tony Robbins dream and like, but like you were saying too, you can learn skills. And I'm not saying like formulas or templates or anything are like inherently bad. Like it's helpful to know what people do, but like you were saying, are you buying like are you taking a course to learn something, or are you taking a course because your husband's in the hospital and you feel like, oh my god, I got to make money? Like if you're
Mhm.
like just out of your mind and you just feel like, I forget how
Yeah,
you said it.
we
You're the
we
copywriter. You said,
okay.
you said
Well,
well.
we have all been there, and this is important to it's important to distinguish between short game strategies and long game strategies. Like, I have definitely been in moments where like I just needed to scramble and make some money, whether it was so that I could pay myself or so that I could like pay an employee or whatever. Like, that's a reality of being in business. Like, sometimes you have to haul ass and you have to make some money. Having an online course or a membership program that costs $50 a month, like, that is not a short game strategy. And the majority of the programs that I have taken teach long game strategies, and those are great. It's just like we need to be clear. Like, email is a long game strategy. What I teach in Email Stars is like, you will reap the benefits if you put this in place. Like, yes, you may reap the benefits in your last launch if you have a decently engaged email list. However, you'll reap the most benefits 6 months or 12 months from now. And that's like, we just need to be clear about that. Like, there's like, like, I love Digital Course Academy. It's such a great program.
Mm-hmm,
I feel solid that I've promoted it in the past, and I refer back to it a lot.
mm-hmm.
It is not short game. It
Yeah.
takes time. Like, you cannot, yes, you could probably create and launch your thing in 90 days, and that would be awesome, and you would learn so much, and that's a great goal. However, revenue, just take that out of the equation, because
Mm-hmm,
that's not typically how it's done. I had a call with someone recently about working on SEO in my company, and this was like the best sales call I've been on in years. And the guy told me roughly what the price would be. Didn't know. He said, we don't do like cookie cutter proposals. The scope will be custom for you. Gave me a ballpark, and then I asked him about return on investment, and he said, like, this is a 12, like, we ask for a 12-month commitment, and it probably will take that long.
mm-hmm.
And it was such a sigh of relief. I was like, okay, well, now I know that like whatever if I'm going to spend $50,000 on SEO, like I need to be able to hold that cost for a year because
Mm-hmm.
that's how long it will take to get it back. And that's incredibly refreshing and just important information to know. Like that's financial, like I can be a good steward of my, financial health of my company, knowing that that's what the investment is. So even in a program to be like, here's the cost and here's how long it will take in order for you to make that money back, if assuming you implement and you are already starting out meeting these certain conditions. Like there's so many layers to this. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I have a question, and just tell me to buzz off if it's annoying. So you, I mean, I guess I don't know how to say this. Like, so you used the best you knew how in the beginning, right? And you
Hmm.
made some money. So we'll just
Hmm.
call those like the sometimes yucky
Hmm.
tactics, but that was what you knew.
Hmm.
Do you think, because like part of me, just because I'm like a lowly little teacher, I'm like, oh, must be easy to do things the easy way, like the correct way and the ethical way when you have money in the bank. But then I
Yeah.
started thinking about it and I was like, actually, it's probably pretty hard to be like, look at all this, like, look how we're doing. Let me change that and maybe make less. So then I was like, oh, wait, snap. Maybe it's like harder.
No,
Maybe it's easier. But I
you
just was curious about that.
you're right. You're making a good point here. And I do think it's important for me to recognize like my company has a high level of financial stability. And again, being a good steward of my company's finances, like where I have savings, like I can afford to take certain risks. Like last year I totally said I just axed all my affiliate promotions. Like that last year represented like 35% of our total revenue. Like that's a lot of money to say goodbye to.
Yes.
And I'm privileged to be able to do that. Not everyone can do that, especially if they're at the stage of business that I am and they have employees and they need to meet a certain amount of revenue every month just to keep the lights on. However, there are like in our last launch, we stripped away so much of the persuasive strategies and our conversion rate was really like not impacted much at all.
Hmm.
So that's really important for people to know. And I want to like shout that from the mountaintop. Like you don't have to use these in order to have a product launch that is profitable and sustainable and equitable. However, certain things, like for example, we offer payment plans without a markup. Like you can't, like I would never recommend that someone who's launching for the first time have a 12-month payment plan with no markup. Like you need money to stay in business. So maybe you could offer like a full price and then like a two pay if you don't want to do a markup. However, like I would definitely recommend a shorter payment plan and I would recommend a markup to incentivize people to pay in full if they can. Like I have the privilege to be able to offer these options and other things too, like expiring bonuses. Like I don't need to have that, like I don't need a rush of revenue in the beginning to fund the ads and the rest of the campaign. Like some people do, like in some cases, like having those incentives early on, for one thing, just like there's the monetary value of those sales, but there's also like from a motivational perspective, like it just helps you keep going. Like launching is exhausting, and if you don't get early sales, like it's 100 times harder. Like that is not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So I try, when I'm talking about persuasion, I try and temper that conversation with like, these are the choices I have made and here's why. This is the privilege that I hold. These are my ethics and this is how I am expressing them in the way that I choose to do my marketing. You may choose to do differently because we are not the same.
Yeah. You said that. Like, I mean, I don't know when I bought email stars, like before, not this last launch. I think the one before,
Mm-hmm.
but you've always said that too in your
I, you
business.
know,
I appreciate that.
I will say like I have been very hard on myself. I've been very hard on myself. And this year, and felt like I was such a major part of the problem, this year, when I went through email stars and re recorded large chunks of it, I was also proud. I was like, in some way I have been tapped into this all along, and I
Mhm.
have threaded a lot of this message throughout my training. So thank you, Deanna, for recognizing that
Yeah.
some bits of this has been there all along.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think you would like notice. Like it would be hard if you were not a
Yeah.
little bit aware before to get to where
Mm-hmm.
you are today. So I
Mm-hmm.
think
Yes.
um so good job.
Thanks. I'll take that.
um and also I've talked to other people who bought email stars this last round and really were happy about like the timers and I mean I
Mm-hmm.
got the emails because I love getting your emails no matter what. So I didn't click the unsubscribe button. But you did that before too.
Yeah.
Like I was saying,
Yeah.
you've it's been coming. Um so cool. I'm trying to think if there's like any last words to get in. Um I did make my husband, I do have to tell the story because otherwise I'll be like, I chickened out. So on old email stars, when I signed up, there was the testimonial about sending one email and making $16,000. And I know now the testimonials are a little different. And there's one that says like people reply and like whatever. I just want to tell you the story of me being in my kitchen with my husband and him being like, yeah, that person. Like, and also it's very important that I don't think you lied about. Like, I think that person
Yeah.
really sent one email and got $16,000. But I definitely was like, Matt, look. Like, it was that feeling. I feel like people need to watch for that. Like, whether it's true or not, and whether
Yeah.
people use that testimonial or don't. But if you're feeling like, babe, look, just look. I mean, 16, like, all I gotta do is take this course and send one email.
Yeah, it's the same as like in a multi-level marketing like house party. It's like all you got to do is like recruit 5 people, and like before you know it, you're going to have an extra $1,000 a month in passive revenue. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it sounds too good to be true, it very likely is. And
Yeah.
that's important for us to remember. It sounds obvious, but it's really easy to forget.
Well, I totally like. I guess I sort of tricked him because I was like, okay, there's the great like the money back guarantee on email stars.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Oh yeah.
if I don't make at least my money back by the time like in two
Mm.
weeks, I thought. So if I don't make all my money back in 2 weeks, then I'll return it. But in the back of my head, I was like, my ass is not returning this.
Yeah, like I think it's important that you bring this up. There's a lot there that we don't have time to explore at all, but
Yeah.
like I myself am someone who returns things. Like if I buy something and it doesn't fit, I return it. If I don't
Hmm.
like it, I return it. Like I will return like a pack of blueberries from the grocery store because it has mold on it. Like I return shit. Like I was trained as a child. My mom
Hmm.
returned stuff. That is not like, I don't think I'm in the majority. I think it's far more common that people are uncomfortable sending an email saying this isn't for me, or like I bought on impulse, I didn't really need it.
Hmm. Well, I wanted it, so I was like a little
Yeah.
unethical in my trick to him because I
Yeah,
was like, "No, I want this."
we find ways to convince ourselves that it's going to be okay. And we have like, I'm glad you told me that story. We have extended our refund policy for 30 days
Okay.
because 2 weeks is just not enough. Like I buy courses, I don't even open them for 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also, I mean, I think you dripped the content of email stars.
We
I don't know
did,
if you still
yes.
do that. And I
We
and I
don't anymore.
as an educator, I like that. It gave me like time to do
Yeah.
it, and I do have ADHD, so it was like good for me to just not get like overwhelmed with all this stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I like that, and whatever. Also, the point was, I was also like playing a little trick, too. Not a trick,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. I was like, oh, I'll just return it. You're right. So, anyways, well, thank you. I just wanted to tell that story because I was like a little scared too, but I'm glad
Thanks.
I
No, I'm glad.
mustered up the
I'm glad you
courage.
brought that up. And it's important for people to hear. Like, actually, someone in my community had told me basically the same story,
Hmm.
that they had bought my program because of a similar testimonial. Like, I have testimonials like that all day long. And she was like taking full responsibility, but she
Hmm.
described to me what it felt like to read that. And immediately I was like, I hadn't gone down this path of how testimonials are used. I did after, but
Hmm.
it was after that conversation I was like, I need all of that off of my sales pages and off of my website.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And also, I will say that people, since taking email stars, people reply to my emails as well. Like,
Ah,
I think you have a
beautiful.
testimonial now that's like,
Yeah.
I love this. It feels like a friend. And it
Yeah.
happened very soon after taking email stars. Like, I was like,
So good.
oh my God, I am doing better. Like I'm learning something, which is
Yes.
really the point of a course. As a teacher, as a trained teacher, the point of a course is to learn something, not necessarily to change your freaking whole life story. So
Precisely.
yay. Okay, well, thank you so much. I know we talked a little extra than I planned, but it was so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Deanna.
All right. We'll talk soon. Maybe. We're not friends. Just kidding. I don't think we're I'm not going to call you later. Whatever. I usually
Don't call me. We're not friends.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just teasing.
No, I'm just kidding.
DM me. You DM me anytime.
Okay.
DM me anytime.
End podcast. Love
Great.
it. OMG. The weirdo Dee always makes an appearance. One thing I do want to point out is that Tarzan talks about her business like a business. I mean, doesn't she sound like she's on Shark Tank or something? I feel like sometimes people just sort of sound like, oh, hey, I'm a mom. I have some kids. I work part-time and I make websites. So whoops, I made a bunch of money. But the way Tarzan speaks about her business is like a business. So we talked about it for a second after the recording stopped, and she said that she's been actively trying to make sure and distinguish between the person Tarzan and the business that she runs, which I think is really important and inspiring. I mean, they don't call her T-Boss for nothing, right? All right. Well, to get all the links from today's episode, you can go to deannaseymour.com/Tarzan Kay. Woohoo! You just finished another episode of the Imperfect Party Podcast. Woo woo! If you know anyone who should totally hear this episode, can you do me a favor and send it to them? Oh, and don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review so more people can find their way to our little shindig. And remember, nobody's perfect. Let's party. See you next time.